You attached me the letter. This is to Taoiseach Micheál Martin, one of our own, as you say, regarding your disappointment with regards to how the government are handling everything, particularly with regards to housing and families like your own lovely family with nowhere to go. Would you mind just paraphrasing and telling me the story behind the letter?
So basically, like in the email I sent to the Taoiseach, I had been on to a bank inquiring about a mortgage because I'm married. We have 4 kids. Myself and my husband are both working, enjoy working, enjoy what we do. We're passionate about what we do. And I was told by the
And just
bank
on that bit, you're an SNA and your husband's a mechanic, David, yeah?
Exactly,
yeah.
Okay. And we're both working full time and everything. And we have 4 kids. The eldest one is 4. The baby is 3 months old.
Okay.
So busy house, but we do our best. So we're at the stage that we're trying to save and budget. So I rang the bank, gave them our earnings and said that we had kids, and to my absolute shock and disappointment, I was told that we would be able to borrow up to €149,000. And I suppose for me, I was soul destroyed. Even just telling my husband, like I was waiting for him to come home from work, and I said he's going to, be soul destroyed.
He's going to be heartbroken like you were.
Exactly. Because I've grown up in Ballincollig all my life. I'm working here. My husband's working in the city, and we have family here. So, we would be looking, to settle in Ballincollig. And, the cheapest house in Ballincollig at the moment is €195,000. That's a 2-bedroom, 40 square metre house. So, in Ballincollig, you can forget buying anything for €149,000.
What's the cheapest?
€195,000 is the cheapest house in Ballincollig at the moment. That's a 2-bedroom, 40 square metre house, so it certainly wouldn't suit a family.
So what's the cheapest 3-bed that would take a family of husband, wife and 3 kids?
You're talking €320,000.
Okay, well that's a more accurate figure for you to base your projections on, not the 2-bed. That won't work for you.
Exactly. So we knew we were absolutely nowhere near this, and I just kind of felt totally deflated. Really, I was saying, what? We're trying to teach our kids, how important it is, they're small yet, but we want to be an example to them, to get educated, work hard. But I just felt so deflated by it the other day.
And on what basis did the bank come up with the 149,000?
Because we have 4 children.
But what does that matter?
So basically, what we had done from our calculations, based on what we earn and stuff, that we should have been you should get 3.5 times kind of what you earn. So
my understanding was 3.5 times combined salary.
Exactly, yeah. So we thought we were, 250,000 in and thereabouts, but automatically €80,000 was taken away.
Why?
Because we have 4 children.
Okay, so for the upkeep and keeping them fed, clothed, warmed, schooled, that's 80 grand a year for, is it? Or no, is it 80 grand over the course of a mortgage?
Up until they're 18, so it's €1,000 a year per child.
They used to never do that before,
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I was so disappointed and kind of let down by the government, because in my books, I think we've tried our best. We've done everything right. My husband did his apprenticeship. He's working as a mechanic. I went to college, got my degree, working as an SNA. We got married. We had our 4 kids. And my thing was, I said, it's all working against us. I feel like we're being penalised from what I would say is for doing the right thing, And
what is the right thing? For bettering yourself, getting a career and working, is it?
Exactly. In my email to the Taoiseach, I said we would actually be better off if one of us gave up our job, which I think is, the way the country is at the moment. I'm not looking for anything for free. All I'm looking is to be able to secure a home, for our family. But the way the system is at the moment is they're making it absolutely impossible for the people that are in the middle of the road, you know. And the reality is, my husband's a mechanic, I'm an SNA. There isn't much more we can do based on the professions that we have.
Two great career paths, although I believe everybody agree that you should be paid more than you are considering the work that you do. But perhaps that's for another day, you know.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, we're both happy to do the work that we do, but like, you know, I said the only way that we get like out of this place where we're stuck in kind of no man's land, that we don't qualify enough to get a mortgage to house our family, and then we don't qualify either for social housing.
So if you weren't working or he wasn't working, you believe that it would open an awful lot of doors to you. You'd be with four children under the age of 4, you'd get, what do you feel you would get?
We would get a house for the paid by the government, for, you know, the social housing. We would qualify for that. We would, you know, I'm not even too sure of the different schemes that are there, but I know that we would be definitely far better off if one of us gave up our job.
Now, do you have private health insurance?
No, we don't.
Do you have a medical card?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
You know, I like the government has great things to help people. I don't deny that. I'm grateful for it. But, you know, if either of us have a slight wage increase, you know, we wouldn't have a medical card.
Yeah. Well, text already says here you'd be better off leaving work, Hannah. You'll get a house from the council, you'll get a medical card, you'll get fuel allowance, you'll get cheaper subsidised childcare costs. Ireland is just an anti-family country. High creche costs, high tax, and we get nothing in return. That's how you feel, isn't it?
That's exactly how I feel. Like, I feel so frustrated. You know, I don't want to have to give up my job, but myself and my husband sat down and we genuinely were contemplating, you know, we were saying, what can we do to have a house, to have that security for our family? And we really feel like our only option was to for one of us to leave our jobs, you know, which I think is soul destroying for people. And I'm sure we're not the only family, you know, in this kind of position.
Last time I recall, or at least I do recall talking with a young family, not unlike yours, with children like you, and I think from Ballincollig, who literally said no more. They were in the same situation as you. They're in Australia now, and they are flying it.
Yeah.
Flying it. I mean, I hate to depress everybody, but they get really nice summers and they have a pool in the back garden. They are flying it.
Yeah, we spoke about that. We said we could immigrate. My husband was saying the only thing he could do is change career, and that would mean going back to studying, you know, something different in college again.
Why? I mean, they need mechanics in every country in the world.
Exactly, and he loves what he does, you know. So it's not even, you know. It just feels like everything is working against us, you know. Like
do you mind me? Are you renting at the moment?
We're renting, yeah.
Okay, and would it be rude to ask the rent?
What
is rent in Ballincollig? Would it be a 3-bedroom semi in Ballincollig be 1,500, 1,400?
Yeah. That's what you're talking. Yeah, in Ballincollig.
So how can somebody pay 1,400 a month for a 3-bedroom semi in Ballincollig and not be a great candidate for a mortgage that would be less than that?
Absolutely, and you know, even to try and save or anything for a deposit, it's just like I just feel totally left down. You know, I feel like the government promised you when it's election time, they'll promise you like the moon and stars, and you go in and you vote for them. Whereas I just kind of feel like, you know, at this stage, if I keep promising votes and doing nothing about it, you know, none of these politicians would be where they are today.
Where are we with social and affordable housing? Where are we with rent-to-buy schemes?
Yeah, because I've actually spoken to a local councillor here in Ballincollig, Colm Kelleher, who does fantastic work in Ballincollig, and you know, he was telling me about bringing in this affordable housing scheme that the government would own 30%. It would be like a shared equity kind of of a system that, let's say if there's a house for €300,000, the government would own 30% of the house, so they'd be spending 90,000, and then you make up the rest then with your mortgage, but it's still tight, for families like our own,
I don't know what the mortgage, I'd have to work out what the mortgage repayment would be on 320,000 over like 25 years.
Yeah, I'm not too sure now, Neil. I don't have them figures in front of me, but you would still be paying less than what you'd be paying rent.
Because on Daft, there are 23 houses for sale in Ballincollig, none of them within your budget for 3-bedroom semi. No. In fact, for your €149, 149,000 they offered you, isn't it? You would get a half-acre site in Lisheen. Lisheens? Is that outside Ballincollig?
Yeah, Lisheen Woods, yeah.
So the best you could do, and you've nothing to build the house on. In fact,
no, you've nothing.
You're €1,000 short for the site.
Yeah. I've looked into it all myself, my husband, and everything. We really, I suppose we felt we were at a stage, that we were trying to put money away and we were trying to budget, and we were kind of getting excited of the possibility of, either buying or building our own house, and then soul destroyed is all I could say.
Did your family always vote Fianna Fáil?
They did. My always Fianna Fáil, canvassed for, my mum used to canvass for a senior minister here.
Was that the great Bad O'Keefe?
It was, and Bat has done incredible work.
He's sadly missed, actually, Bad O'Keefe. He was a serious heavyweight, actually, as a politician and a minister, and I'd say he was great for Ballincollig.
He was great for Ballincollig. He absolutely, and as I said, we have our local councillor again, Colin Kelleher for Fianna Fáil, who does outstanding work in Ballincollig for the people. But I only wish the rest of his colleagues up in the Dáil had the same interest in people.
Talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All talk and no action. And that's just the way I feel at the moment. Is I can promise you all the votes in the world, but if I don't actually do it, it means nothing. And that's the way I feel, is they're all talk, promises.
I love where you've asked him a question as to what you should do, because I would love to know what his answer. You say, I urge you to consider my dilemma and tell me what direction a family of mine is meant to take. I'd love to see what answer he has,
Yeah,
So did you, I'd be shot for telling you to go to Australia. I know I would be shot, but... Well, your kids are young enough.
My kids are young enough, but we have family here, and when you have small kids, the support system is important. Our life, all my life.
I know. Listen, don't get me wrong. You shouldn't. The point here is you shouldn't have to.
It's terrible that that people are being pushed into that kind of position, and for us to stay in Ballincollig, I feel like that we're pushed for either myself or my husband to give up our job.
No disrespect now to any suburb, because Ballincollig is thriving. It really is. It's like day and night to 20 years ago. But how did property get so dear where you're talking about €350 for an average 3-bedroom semi, or you're talking 500 or 550 for a 4-bedroom? Is it just there's no houses?
Are
these new builds that are being big money?
Well, they're not even the new builds are big money, there's plenty of older houses in Ballincollig going for 340,000 that are well and truly over 20 years old, So I don't know, is it now that we're part of the city? We weren't part of the city before, we are now.
Well, I just heard that there are a lot of the new builds now in suburbs, particularly Ballincollig, which is an area that has all of the services, great shopping, great creches, great schools, great medical facility. A lot of the new builds are being bought off plans, such as the demand out there.
Yeah. We spoke actually to a housing agent the other day, and he said he had sold 3 houses without them ever being even viewed.
I was talking to an auctioneer down, actually Joanna Murphy, the auctioneer down in the harbour, is doing an awful lot of viewings online, virtual viewings. She has a company that goes in and does videos, 360 videos, and people are buying. People are buying. They're not going to the property now. They're viewing it. Some of them are overseas viewing it with a mind to coming home, and they're buying them off video.
Yeah. I'd only love to be in that position, but for my €149,000.
Have you gone to the credit union though?
The credit union here in Ballincollig, they don't do anything mortgage-wise, is what I was told by them. Now, what I haven't done is there's 2 other banks that I want to contact, but I think they more or less go off the same book, But I suppose like that. I feel desperate as to what direction to go, and I suppose that was the idea of even contacting your show. For people even to say, look, this is what route you have to go, and from what I can see, like the route that's open to us is one I don't want to take, which is for one of us to give up our job. To
either give up your job and claim assistance, get a house in that way, and you would too with 4 children under the age of 4, or immigrate. Okay, because as you say yourself, 150 grand wouldn't get you a living room.
No, not a living room, a caravan. It's just. It's hopeless. It's not an option for us to buy a house. The normal route.
Thank you. Somebody says they just did the mortgage calculation. They said 305,000 mortgage is 1,300 per month, and that's not including the deposit that you'd probably throw at it. So it's probably even less than 1,300 a month.
Yeah. And people are paying well over that for their rent.
Well, and unfortunately, your votes have kept Fianna Fáil in power for decades. Yeah,
I've learned the hard way. That I certainly won't. I feel like you were only saying on your show this morning that they've given themselves a $9,000 increase in their wages.
Yeah. Don't kid yourself,
wouldn't that go a long way for a family like our own, I've
always thought we should have a national mortgage bank that's owned by the state that gives out mortgages where you're saying they're kind of going that way by owning 30% equity, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about where the state lends the citizens the money to buy their homes, and then the citizen repays the money at a low rate to the state.
Yeah, something has to be done, and I just feel like they're not doing enough. It's not in their interest. It mustn't be, because if they have the time to be increasing their own wages, they should have the time to be sorting the housing crisis that's here, and look after.
It's all talk.
Yeah.
Let's see what other people make of, and maybe other people have similar stories to you, and I'd encourage them to share. Let's see if that happens. And also, that's a letter, so you'll be expecting some kind of a response. Make sure you come back when you get the response, will you?
Absolutely, Neil. Absolutely.